and welcome back to another Bad Movie Reviews review, hosted by your two favourite sewer rats down under, Ben and Daniel. And if you haven't figured it out based off, I guess, the 10% of the T-shirt you can see, and the fact that we are sewer rats, we are reviewing none other than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which is the latest animated film, I guess, that's been making waves. Animated films have obviously been extremely, I guess, prevalent in the last few years with Spider-Verse and things like that, and even Mitchell's and the Machines. But
been a while since the last Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, the last one was the live action, like Michael Bay produced one, which was absolutely dog shit. But no, I should probably refrain from using. But no, it wasn't great. But it is written and directed by Jeff Rowe, who has previously done Mitchell's and the Machines. And Kyla Spears. So I think you watched that. That was a straight to Netflix film. Fantastic movie.
Mitchell and the Machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me. Great watch. Watch.
But yeah, no. Well, you did say beforehand that you wanted me to take the reins on this one, but so I will, in terms of what I thought about the film. If you want to know, I don't know if I've had. I probably have said this a lot, but this was a fantastic time at the cinemas. This is like, I really, really had a good time. I'm not like the biggest Teenage Mutant, despite my shirt. Like I watched TMNT as a kid. I know all the characters. I know like the kind of canon and I guess all the origins and things like that. But I guess to start off with the direction, like the I guess what you actually see on screen, the direction is seriously good. Like the action sequences, the animation style is beautiful.
I love it.
It's not so much like Spider-Verse where there's like multiple frames per second and things like that. It's actually like it's almost drawn with like watercolor, like pencils in a way. Like there's this certain like smoothness to it, which looks beautiful, and it really, really works, especially with the characters and the world of New York. Like I actually don't think the world of New York City was like, I actually think the way this film depicted New York was better than like, for instance, Spider-Verse. I feel like it really was prevalent in where it's located, but no, everything worked for me on this, and the voice acting is seriously good. They haven't really hired anyone, I guess, of any like notability in terms of the main turtles, but all the turtles, so Mike Abbey, Shimon Brown Jr., Brady Noon, and Nicholas Cantu, all fantastic as the turtles. You did have like Seth Rogen as one of the mutants, and John Cena and like Rose Byrne, and there are obviously you do have Jackie Chan playing Splinter as well, but all the voice cast really worked. I know we've talked about previously in certain films where they kind of hire known actors to play character, like just to have the name there. This definitely didn't have it, even though you do have those actors like Jackie Chan and John Cena. They're very much Seth Rogen, like characters that aren't necessarily prevalent or like got much lines, and even then they are putting on like a voice. So that really worked for me as well. The biggest plus for me, honestly, is kind of the setting and the script, though. Like it's a seriously tight script. It's only an hour and 40 minutes long, but it is a really, really good story that you can get around, that everyone can relate to in terms of belonging, wanting to feel accepted. So there's obviously those deeper meanings, but the story really worked, and I thought the comedic factors did work on, I guess, not necessarily a con, but on the majority of levels it did work. The only thing is, I don't know, it's not necessarily like a kids film.
No.
It is like, it does have certain like darker sequences for sure, but a lot of the humor, well, not a lot, but like some of the humor is very pop culture reference heavy and like modern. So like some people, like I guess I'm not necessarily like deep into it, but I'm very aware of what's happening in like the pop culture and entertainment world.
You're very aware.
Well, like even just comments of like certain songs and things like that in this film. Like I feel like I'm very up to date. So a lot of that connected with me. There will be people out there that it probably won't necessarily connect with, like the guy to my left. Even though you probably could still laugh if you have like bare bones knowledge of it, but to really hit that comedic spot, you kind of do need to be a little bit a little bit up to date. But it doesn't take away from the film whatsoever, in my opinion. Still, it's just to kind of enhance that experience. You probably need to, but no, everything really worked well for me here. Like, this is one of my favorite, like in my top 10 of the years so far. I had a great time. I thought everything really worked well. I thought the concept of the fact that the mutant Ninja Turtles are in fact teenagers, really
like
works.
Genuine teenagers
really works well, and the fact that you've obviously got the potential for sequels and to see them grow up and things like that. Because you look at the live action one, and even though they might have been teenagers, they were voiced by like genuine men, and like they're 6 foot mutant, they're 6 foot turtles. Like, it's not. Whereas this, I just felt like the setting really worked. And man, I got to give props to Seth Rogen. That's the biggest thing. Like, he produced this film and wrote it. And I've got to give him props. Like, he's been on a serious wave in the last few years of just producing some great stuff. Like, he's produced, obviously, Invincible, the animated show on Amazon. He's did Joyride, which we both enjoyed.
Sausage Party.
That was awful. And The Boys, he even produced The Boys, which is one of my favourite TV shows out at the moment, which I obviously it's vastly different. It's a, highly inappropriate superhero show. But everything really hit for me. Comedy, the story, the voice acting, the direction of the film, like it really worked. And I plead everyone to see this, even though it has been out in the States for about a month now, and we have gotten this, thanks to Paramount, we were lucky enough to see this at an early screening, and even then the Australian public won't be seeing it for another 2 weeks, so its release date's the 12th of September. So I think technically it hits VOD in the States earlier than it releases in cinemas here. What a shame it is, though, that this film hasn't made a heap of money. So whether we get a sequel or not, it's still up in the air. And it really is upsetting because it is probably the best TMNT film. I've seen majority of them, and it is probably the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film to date. So I'll pass it over anyway. I want to know your thoughts of the film and how you saw it.
I also thoroughly enjoyed this film. The art style was the first thing that stood out for me from like the get-go. Like, here's this like... when we kind of reacted to the trailer, kind of seemed like a little bit of clay animation with like some watercolors and stuff. But it was like this one was like, okay, let's like make a genuine animation and then like draw over the top these awesome like unique watercolor scribbled penciled effects. And I thought that just perfectly complemented this film. I watched a fair bit of the cartoon series when I was younger, and you're right, they were like 19. If they were teens, they were 19. They weren't 13 and like that.
Yeah, this is like they're actually starting like...
Everything. Yeah, they're absolutely no one. No one's ever heard of them. They're nothing. And I felt like they were pretty faithful to the audience too. There was a few like internal references to some previous like kind of episodes. But pretty faithful and just quite an enjoyable adventure. Ben touched on the pop culture side of things. Mine, when it just comes to genuine culture, not even just pop culture, I know nothing. I couldn't even tell you what happened in the last 20 years in the media. I couldn't tell you a single unique event. This man's a little bit more up to date. So a lot of that humorous stuff, he was laughing his absolute ass off, and I was like, I don't even know what was funny about it, but people were laughing, so something was funny. But yeah, a lot of those things go over the top of my head unless they make like an occasional joke about like Beyonce or Drake or something. I'm like, I know that guy. Yeah, I've heard his music. But look, it delivered those lines perfectly, and the voice acting was top notch. That's for sure. Quite an enjoyable film, and you're probably right. Probably one of the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animations in a while. I won't just say films. I'll put TV series and everything all in together. It was quite an enjoyable film. It's probably one of the best. I was going to say kids movies, but I don't even know where it fits in if you're going to say kids movies.
Yeah, that's the hard thing.
It is just a little bit more mature than just kids, isn't it?
That is the hard thing. I can't remember what film we saw recently, but it kind of is in the same boat where it's kind of hard for me to sit here and pinpoint an audience. Like obviously for anyone who grew up watching TMNT would love it, and it's probably very aware that that's what it has got going for it. It is already a existing property that's had fans back, dating 20, 30 years kind of thing. So it has got that going for it. It's set up it's a great film to bring in new fans of TMNT for sure.
Agreed.
I think it's just that age. I think it is quite. There
Haunted
are certain
Mansion
scenes.
is what we're thinking of.
Yeah, Haunted Mansion,
and the other animated one, which we thought wasn't going to make much money. It was kind of like Grease. What was it? Elementals.
Yeah,
it was where it's just so hard to pinpoint where the crowd is because it's just it seems like kind of a kids movie, but sometimes there's too many elements that lean a little bit towards like older teens.
Well,
here's a little bit of horror, here's a little bit of too much violence. They actually used the word crap 4 times in this film.
Well, what worked well and what a lot of great kids films do, like you look at Inside, this film did it brilliantly where it had the childy humours and the colours where the kids will really resonate with, and then it did have the adult jokes which really connected with me. But there were, as you said, like comments like, Leonardo's so far up, Master Splinter's butt. And it's like, even though they use, like, I guess, PG terminology, it's like the concepts and some of the things they said, it's like, I know that you've had Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg write it, who've collaborated on multiple projects, which majority of them are on the more adult side.
Yep.
They've obviously toned it down a little, but more what I'm, I guess, coming across as is like visually when you're dealing with, like, obviously these mutants, right? There are actually some sort of darker scenes and things like that where I think when you get to the younger side of a kid, it might not be, they might not do as well in the cinema. They might be scared, but man, 10 and above would probably eat it up.
100%.
But
and some extra props to this film, kind of exactly what you said, where it's a good way to draw people back into this universe, into this community of TMNT, but also like set up for the future. And that's not like a spoiler saying something happens or whatever that is. They've built a very good foundation to make continuous, either movies or TV series off, and then make it all seem nice and fresh again. I think they've done well with their script writing to leave that open without kind of overworking it.
100%. When you've got certain characters that are beloved in the TMNT universe that weren't obviously touched in this film or looked at, there is that potential to really grow. I just hope that this film does get a sequel. Because it definitely deserves it. There is a lot of love and effort put into this film, and you can tell.
Agreed.
And man, I'll be buying this on 4K. Like I can imagine how good it looks on disc. But I recommend everyone to see it. Obviously, as I stated before, it's been out in America or internationally for quite some time. So if it is still playing, if you are watching this video and it is still playing in your theaters, I do beg you to go see it and support it. It's definitely recommended. And if you are watching this and you are within the oceanic shores of Australia, whatever that made sense. But if you are in Australia and are looking for something to watch September 12th, please also go support it and watch it because it definitely deserves it.
Worth every cent.
Worth every cent. And there's not much coming out at the moment from my own knowledge. Obviously, you've got some huge films still playing, but this is right up the alley of heading into school holidays for families. That's not Paw Patrol, which is probably, funnily enough, on the more
movie of the year, possibly
0 to 6 kind of age bracket. But let us know what you thought in the comments below if you have seen it. Other than that, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.